Hi guys, happy Witchy Wednesday. So, alright, we're done with the Modern Magic course. So yeah, that was interesting, that was fun. That was a long time. That was a really, really long book. So, thank you for the memes, for everybody that has made a meme of me. I love those. Those are the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. Everybody on my channel, or not my channel, but all my social media platforms, love them. I think it's incredible. I mean, honestly, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Wicca. You're awesome. So, alright, so a little bit of, let's see, oil making. Well, it's not really an oil. It is an oil, but it isn't. It's water, it's oil, it's herbs. There we go. Alright, so let's get going. Okay, so for me, I can't usually burn sage or incense. I do burn sage a lot, so it's just little bitsy balls that I ball it up because white sage is very, very hard to shred. It's like, it has a very, it's almost like trying to shred a really sticky, sticky bud that isn't ready to be harvested. So, for this, just get a little bottle, a little spray bottle. You can get these on eBay, Amazon, wherever you want. Oh, Jesus God, it smells amazing. So what I did was, first, did a little bit of divination to see how it would come out. Perfect. So a lot of that went into my mop water. So what I did was I added about, let's see, 13 drops of pennyroyal oil. And then I added some basil, which is Romanian. Basil is for everything. Cleansing, luck, money, love, everything. Basil. So it's a very good. It's a protectant, it's a spiritual cleanser. So it's pennyroyal. Pennyroyal actually brings down the angelic energies and it lifts just that negative, nasty, gross, like, film that you feel after, like, an argument. So, alright, and then I crushed it up just a little bit. What else did I put in there? Sage, white sage, and regular sage. So, regular sage is very easy to crunch up. It turns to powder, so you could put that in there very easily. But the white sage, all I did was I took, I think, a sprig and just stuck it in there. And I empowered it. Put it in between my hands. I focused all of my energy, all of my intention into what this was for. And it is to calm down anything. It's a spiritual lifting device agent. It is a cleanser, a spiritual cleanser, a physical cleanser, literally. The sage in here will get rid of the bacteria. So if you can't really burn sage or incense, which, you know, I love incense, but can't do it here, this is the perfect. So you can also do this and then use, I use reverse osmosis water. I don't use, or you could use shungite water. Perfect. And you put a little piece of shungite in there. You could add anything, a quartz crystal programmed to what your intention is for this. So, just make sure you do your, make sure, you know, there's not too much herb in there because it will clog. So it's just a really nice spritz, as you can see. And it smells really, really good. So, and then keep it in a dry, cool place because you can see how the herbs have just kind of, yeah. So yeah, I like cobalt blue. You can get it in the brown, but I love this mix. So use your imagination and see what you can come up with. I think I added a few more oils to it, like dragon's blood or something like that, but it was really cool. So it worked really well. I love it. And that's that. So, the Lenormand tarot cards. Alright. So, for the Lenormand tarot cards, I really wanted to do a video on these. I know they're small, they're very tiny, but they are so accurate, it is scary. It is so scary how accurate they are. Okay, I take that back, it's not scary. It is amazing how accurate they are. So I just want to go through a few of them today. I will do a whole thing on these cards because they're amazing. My Virgo Queen, thank you for this deck. I love it. I never thought I'd have more tarot decks or oracle cards than I do Ouija boards, and now I do. So it's kind of a heart puller. Alright, so here's just a little bit of introduction about Marie Lenormand. So, just a little background information. So, we have, and it does come with this really nice book. Really nice. And it's accurate. I mean, you guys know, the ones that use these cards know how accurate those cards are, and it is scary. I mean, literally scary. So when I'm shuffling the cards at night, I literally make sure that I am blank. I have to be completely blank, my mind, and then I focus. Okay, what, universe, whatever, God, Goddess, Baphomet, whomever. And then my djinns help me with all my readings, all my magic, everything. So thank you both, and thank you down there. I had to thank them. So, all right. What was I saying? I forget. Shoot. But no, these are just, extremely to the T accurate. I just really want to know who's going to have a baby in my family. It keeps telling me that there's a baby. A baby's coming. Make way for your family to grow. Who? Somebody already had a baby. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. But, alright, so the divination cards of Madame au Ciel Marie Lenormand, so which are also called Les Petites Lenormand cards. Les Petites, little. So, I think these are the oldest ones, or closest in their Italian, so these cards are the subject of this book. So the cards have enjoyed uninterrupted popularity for years. So they have not been messed with. They had the meanings and none of it. So I like it. So, and this popularity is now increasing. Oh, it's only increasing, even after over 200 years. So these cards have been around for a really long time. They originated in Italy. So the 36 cards still hold a mysterious power over many people. It really does. I mean, it is really odd how just they pick up everything. So the reputation of the Lenormand cards can perhaps be explained by the fame of their French creator, Marie Anne Lenormand. So, who was the most well-known fortune teller of the 18th century? Yeah, so she is pretty amazing. So you can actually light a candle for her. You could probably get a picture of her, just to kind of honor her and help with reading the cards. So the more recent interest in the cards stem first and foremost from the fact that people still seek reassurance, compassion, help, and own happy endings. So undoubtedly the cards can help in the quest to find new solutions to the problems in their lives. So and then there's 3 functions of the book, but what I have found is that they do tell a story, just like regular tarot cards, but it's easiest if you start with 1 card per day. So shuffle the cards, think about, how, the energy, what kind of energy is this day going to have? Pull a card, write down the meaning from the book, and then all your gut feelings. So, it's good. And then you go on to 1 to 2 cards to 3 cards, and then you can do a whole 36 spread card. Alright, so the 3 functions of the book in conjunction with the cards. So 1, for those interested, it should serve as an introduction to the traditional and divinatory use of the Lenormand cards. Furthermore, the classical and the premonitory use of the cards and the ways in which they influence the remaining cards are also explained. So number 2, a modern approach as to how to interpret cards will also be introduced, so opening up some of their extra dimensions. There's a lot of layers to these cards. So these lie in the modern meanings of the cards. So the cards are meant as symbolic vehicles, as similarly been the practice with the tarot cards since the 1960s. So these individual chapters, they actually illustrate the symbolic content of the card motifs, along with their multifaceted and unique features. There's a lot. So 3, the divination of the card is comprised of 2 methods, so the divinatory reading and the symbolic reading. So there are instructions for choosing which concrete steps to take, as well as special guidelines for the topics of love, happiness, and success. These, yes, I do want to offer these sooner or later, probably a little later, because I still got to get a really good grip on them. I do have a good grip on them, I think, somewhat, but yeah, they're pretty interesting. Right now, where'd I go? Okay, so the illustrations for this book are from a variation of the cards that appeared with printed verses, so they were published as a historical edition, circa 1875. Okay, I'm very interested now, and served as a template. So the cards are available separately as a deck or as a set with the purchase of this book. So, alright, it goes on to say, this is also by Harold Justine. I wish my readers many hours of enjoyment and hope they are inspired and motivated to change their lives for the better by the Lenormand cards, so thereby gaining enlightening insight into their innermost selves. It really does. It really digs deep. So, how divination can actually help you through the Lenormand cards. So, one of the man's oldest wishes since ancient times has been to unveil the darkness of the near or distant future, to reveal the intentions of the unknown presiding powers of fate in regards to himself, writes Ludwig Harold, who cites helpfulness and curiosity as the primary motivations for using divination. So, Ludwig Harold Oracles, the Handbook of German Superstition. Oh, a phenomenal reproduction of the 1935 edition. These are old. Alright, so, many people have long believed that it is possible to discover the hand of fate as well as the future in the cards. Foreseeing the future with the help of gaming cards or specialized divination cards does go back to medieval times. Ultimately, it's originated from a combination of so-called conjuring books and playing cards. So even the amateur oracles of today draw inspiration from the use of divination cards, and in particular with the help of the particularly user-friendly Lenormand cards. So since the future is not set in stone, there's no way to tell the future. So, sorry. Alright, now playing with fortune. Alright, the lure of the game is first what attracts people to divination cards, and what makes them so fascinating. So try something without taking a risk, while preparing for the future at the same time is the name of the game. Learning what is at stake and playing with fire in a playful way, even going a bit too far. In any case, there's something about the Lenormand cards that makes them irresistible. That's very true. The trick is to get yourself into the game so that you can finally know which hand is being dealt to you in real life. So, consciously playing with fate by dealing the tarot cards is one of the most basic ways to tell the future. Cards are one of the most essential elements of modern divination, and some fortune tellers could not imagine trying to tell the future without them. So you will profit from the cards if you let yourself be inspired by them, grab the horse by the reins, and then act accordingly. So, the cards will not tell you exactly how to live your life, but they can open your eyes and make you aware of what you might have long suspected or known, but we're afraid to admit to yourself or others. So by doing so, you are clearing a path that will allow you to consciously shape your own future. Alright, now we have the symbols on the cards. So they're very, very different. I feel blurry. They're very different from the regular tarot cards. I mean, completely different. Much better, too. Much better. But I still love using my Lenormand cards in conjunction with my regular Cosmic Tarot. So they just, I mean, everything goes with them. Alright, so now we have the symbolism on these cards. So, the motifs on the Lenormand cards are symbols. So we will deal with only one of the languages being spoken by the symbols. So you may be familiar with symbols such as the dream or the fairy tale from using tarot cards. For example, these are along the languages of symbols, archetypes. So, the practical interpretation is dependent on which personal meaning they have for you. So in which context they appear and what associations that they awaken in you. So none of them are to be interpreted on only a symbolic level. But before you let yourself be frightened or shocked by a negative meaning, so let yourself be discouraged. Take some time to think about the positive aspects of the reading could contain. So, The sheer range of possible symbolic meanings might at first be confusing. It is very confusing at first. Very. But because of the various ways to interpret the cards, this makes it possible to gain your own individual access to them and discover new ways of thinking about your life. So where possible, you will find your own personal impetus for your spiritual or for your situation in life. So which will be very helpful in getting yourself on the path that will take you to where you want to be. So opportunity can be found in variety. So which interpretation is the right one? What one feels best for you? Alright, so the surest way to attain this is through the individual approach. What also helps is reading what others have written about their experience with the cards. So this will give you further suggestions and will show you the aspects of the cards that you might have missed. So in other words, don't take what you read in this book to an automatic given or the last and final word about interpreting the cards. So, what counts is how the suggestions get you further in life. Thinking for yourself is truly the way to success. There we go. Perfect. That's why I love these cards. They're amazing. So, now shaping your future. So, the approach to interpreting the Lenormand cards described in this book is different than other approaches. I mean, it's completely different. So you might have read about before. In other books, the cards are usually merely described as a medium of fortune telling. So the symbolic approach described in this book comes from the belief that your life is not destined to be lived according to a predetermined fate. Okay, so I can see how it could possibly tell you the future. It is instead an open system that may follow certain patterns, by which is also influenced by factors that allow your life to develop in numerous possible directions. So in this sense, the future is not pre-written. It is not possible to read or predict based on known facts and patterns of behavior. So we are merely able to just develop models. So the cards do not tell you how to live your life. You yourself do this, provided hopefully with a new way to think about one aspect, another of your life. So it's very, they are life-changing. They're very life-changing and amazing. So you can influence and shape your future to a certain extent. So this is one of life's most noble pursuits. To be able to shape your future, you have to know where you want to go and what your innermost wishes and fears are. So you must be capable of making decisions, knowing how you want to shape the future for making decisions. So this stays, this can go, this can be further developed, this I can do without, and this is what I have to conquer. Making decisions is an active way of thinking, a process of action that the developing individual must fulfill himself. So I love these cards. They're incredible. Alright, so Marie Anne Adelaide Lenormand, the commonly used form is now Lenormand. So, was born on May 27th of 1772 in the French region of Alencon, and was the eldest daughter of a prosperous cloth merchant. She was in fact probably born a few days before, but in France. So the birthday was listed as the official day of christening. I love her. I love this. Alright, so she was barely 6 years old when she lost her father. Her mother was then married to a distant relative of her own family. That's weird. So that her father's business would remain in the family. However, her mother died only a few months after her father. Her stepfather married again a short time later, and Marie Anne was put into the care of Benedictine monks in Alencon by her stepmother. During her early years, she supposedly was already reading the palms of her classmates. So this is a technique that she said to have copied from traveling gypsies who had come to Alencon. She predicted that the abbess of the nunnery would be discharged, and with this actually took place half a year later. She was expelled by the abbess's replacement. Oh wow, that sounds like me in high school and junior high. Well then, Anne, we have a lot in common. Alright, so at 10 years old, she began an apprenticeship as a seamstress. So in secret, she continued to practice fortune telling. Very interesting. Alright, so in order to prevent being expelled as she had been by the nunnery, in the mid-1780s, she went to Paris and found work at a lingerie store. What happened next seems to have come straight out of a fairy tale. The young bookkeeper, who secretly was a bookworm, taught her forbidden arts of Kabbalah and astrology. In 1787, she bought a winning lottery ticket, which enabled her to travel to London. Alright, this is so where she presented herself as a fortune teller. Her clients came from noble circles, and in a short period of time, she allegedly amassed a large fortune. Eventually, she even advised members of the royal family. How amazing would that be? She later returned to Paris, where in 1793 she predicted the violent deaths of 3 men. Her prediction came true, and that it later became a defining element of her reputation as a successful fortune teller is easy to understand. So, the names of the 3 men were Marat, Robespierre, and Saint Just. That's interesting. So, who all came to a violent end during the French Revolution. So now Marie Anne Lenormand, as she called herself from then on, soon met Madame Gilbert, a well-known fortune teller from Paris, and together they found their own salon, advising their clients with the help of various fortune-telling techniques, such as reading cards, empty coffee cups, meditation, and astrology. Very cool. Very cool. Alright, now, at a celebration, Marie is said to have had met Josephine de Bournas, a commoner with Creole ancestors, who became a noble when she married Count Alexandre de Barnes. She was widowed during the Reign of Terror when her husband was beheaded, and later married the Napoleon when he became Emperor of France. So Marie assured Josephine that she would later ascend the throne, which she later died in 1804 at the side of Napoleon as Empress of the French. So from the time of their meeting, Josephine and Madame Anne Lenormand are said to have stayed in regular contact. So how much this contact also expanded to Napoleon remains controversial. The salon provided Madame Gilbert and Lenormand with a comfortable life, but unfortunately it did not keep them from making enemies. So Marie was arrested at 3 times during the course of her life, and even imprisoned. But each was released each time due to fortunate circumstances. There we go. Fortunate circumstances. I like that. Alright, so in the following years, Napoleon's reign and Lenormand's fame spread because of numerous predictions that she made that later came true. In 1830, she retreated from public life and spent her last years at her estate, Poissy in Paris, where she died at age 71 on June 25th, 1843. Wow. So that's really interesting. I mean, that's a really interesting introduction to her. How she predicted all of this, how she, had her own place to do the fortune telling and, the astrology, and she studied Kabbalah. It's mind-blowing. I love it. Alright, so a little bit of biographical notes on her. So, whether Lenormand developed the cards named after her is debatable. So, for the majority of the time, she worked as a fortune teller. So it is almost certain that she used regular playing cards. I still can't for the life of me do that. It's also not unlikely that using her name may have been a clever marketing strategy used by those who were trying to sell the already popular divination cards at the time. So there are also various biographical accounts of Lenormand in a number of divination handbooks, so many of them contradict one another and present facts about her life in an unclear manner, making it difficult not to become confused about the truth. So Anne Marie Lenormand also published several books herself during her later years. Ooh, I wonder how accessible these are. So, and while they contain autobiographical elements, it's important not to underestimate her own good instincts when it came to good marketing. First and foremost, the books were published by the author in order to increase her notoriety, so it is important to consider the facts in this light. The veil of mystery was and still is a necessary embellishment and accessory when it comes to the profession of fortune-telling. In short, it is difficult to differentiate between the truth and what has been woven in afterwards into the legend. So wow, she's pretty legendary. I didn't know that. So, a number of things are very similar to what one reads in the glossy magazines of today about Hollywood stars. So it is with this in mind that you should pay attention to the information in the footnotes below. So, 2. Unfortunately, the books by Lenormand are not available in the English language. And the only ones available in French are antique printings. So, yeah. Never mind. That answered my question. That totally answered my question. Don't know what's going on. Alright, so we're going to start with this first card, and this is the Rider or the Cavalier. So, just the symbolism is just, I mean, incredible. And you'd think that they'd be a little bit bigger, but they're not. They're very tiny. They're smaller than regular playing cards. I don't know why they've been doing that. They've been just like sticking. And I personally don't care for that. I think it should just be clear. Or just all symbol. So, we have 1. The Rider or Cavalier. So, traditional meaning is the Rider brings news. When he appears with positive surrounding cards, this means good news. And vice versa when appearing with negative surrounding cards. So, alright, now, and it gives you a list of, should this card appear with number 12, number 13, number 32, 4, 5. Now we have modern symbolism. So, to begin with, the Rider, the Rider is a person who rides from point A to point B, and who, with the help of a powerful vehicle, reminds me of the chariot, overcomes distance while experiencing a great deal along the way. So, from the perspective of the Rider, he brings many manly virtues with him, such as pride, gallantry, bravery, and the chivalry of the medieval knight, as well as negative overtones of gentlemen riders and lords of the manor. For example, positive associations would be elegance, charity, solidity, while negative associations would be arrogance and egocentricism. Some people are reminded of the cowboys of the Old West, the embodiment of hardened men who spit in the face of wind and wolves, and when the situation calls for it, are fast with their revolvers, a gun. So, truthfully, these cliches have very little to do with the reality of a real cowboy life, obviously. So, the Genteel Rider is what is meant to be portrayed, not a soldier. So, and the idea of being civil is meant to be the focus of this card. During the 19th century, when the Lenormand cards originated, the horse was a common means of transportation. It was also the service vehicle of the post riders and couriers. So, the messages they brought bore a certain importance and urgency, and the transport of letters back then was expensive even then. So yes. In psychology and dream interpretation, the Rider stands for strength, controlled movement, controlled eroticism, and bridled, cultivated energy. In the mythical creature of the centaur, steed and his rider are literally melded together into one being. So this unity also symbolizes body and spirit, heart and soul, and desire and rationality, etc. So, alright, I froze. There we go. Alright, so the happiness of the earth lies on the back of the horse. What? Yeah, I have no clue what that even really means. So, there are, you know, you get tips and stuff. It's a very nicely printed book. So, and yeah, ooh, I like the way it's been actually tied in. Alright, so how do I see myself in with respect to this card? Am I the rider or the horse? Am I riding to somewhere or from somewhere? So which goal am I currently pursuing? Which motivations are causing me to pursue this goal? So the quote on the card, the rider brings news. The rider brings new things from a foreign land. Recognize him as yourself, and you've chosen the right man. Now tip, whatever thoughts are awakened in you and whichever message is waiting at you, seize the reins. Don't allow anyone to take them away from you. Allow your positive radiance to have an effect on everyone around you. So I like this. I really like these little tips that they give. Now, for love, always love with your whole heart and soul. Physical love is just as boring and unfulfilling as unending platonic devotion. Cultivate your desires, but don't repress them. At least we have rain coming. Oh, yes, rain coming. Now, happiness. So the happiness of the earth lies on the back of the horse. So ride forth and seek your own personal happiness. Be clear about what happiness means to you and what happiness could be your happiness. So, now success. You are on the train or better on the tracks. So invoke the steed and rider and clearly say what you want. This is something that can help you in a lot of situations, such as job interviews. So going back to modern magic, you could actually put yourself in that tarot card, or in this card, and you could actually, yes, project into that card, look around, see what's going on, and then ask the rider, the cavalier, for help in your goal. So I think that's pretty interesting. So there's a lot more to these than just finding out what's going on right now and what could possibly happen in the future from formations from right now. So, as we obviously can see. Alright, now, number 2, the clover, my favorite. Ever since Leprechaun, I've had a thing for clovers. So, number 2 is the clover. And I love how it actually shows a real clover and not just, you know, some like fictional little cartoon. So, that is the clover. I love these. Alright, so, traditional meaning for the clover. Alright, so this card contains the symbol for ultimate happiness or hope. So, sometimes interpreting the card can have to do with great inner happiness. So, that is difficult to describe with words. So, clover is also a sign of money. The negative aspect of the card can mean that happiness or luck is about to leave you. We don't want that. If the card... Wait. I'm about to leave you, so... Yes, and then, you know, if the card appears with, like, the house, or card number 4, or the star, card number 16, these are harbingers of happiness at home, or good luck in your business ventures. So. Ooh, nose itch. Now we have modern symbolism of the clover. And these symbolisms are just, I mean, cool. Really neat. When we get to the cross, I like that one, so it will be a couple days before we get there. Alright, now, modern symbolism. During pre-Christian times, even the 3-leaf clover was considered to be a holy plant. After the Christianization of Europe, the symbolism of its 3 leaves were transposed onto the Holy Trinity and stood for the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Did you guys know that? I didn't. Well, I did until I read this book. The 3-leaf clover is loaded with positive symbolism and also signifies what is usual or normal in life. So the 4- and 5-leaf clovers are considered to be extraordinary signs of good luck and an omen for a happy marriage. So the 4 leaves of the 4-leaf clover stand for health, prosperity, happiness, and true love. The symbolism goes back to the legend of Eve, who supposedly smuggled a 4-leaf clover out of paradise in order to remain herself of the happiness she experienced there. So, we're going back to biblical times, Eve. Alright. In many cultures, the number 4 is a sign of completeness and the union of opposites, similar to the cross. Within this context, the clover symbolizes wholeness. So you can invoke that energy of the clover with a real clover. Just go outside and find them. They're everywhere. So, even without their association, with ancient legends, the clover has always been known for its vigor and pluriferous growing abilities. Yeah, they do. The clover gives one life power, and it simultaneously is an emblem of it. For this reason, the clover means that there will be fertility and growth in your life. When you are shown this card, you have the complicated task of conducting a conscious and mindful search for wholeness and completeness in your life. So, finding the solution for how to fit these things together is the key to this end of war. So finally, never make the mistake of wishing for a clover with 6 leaves or more. Why? Because these are emblems of bad luck. Too much happiness or luck is considered to be a sure sign of the devil or evil forces. Well, we can see where the devil comes in from back that in her time. So, now, when happiness knocks, don't forget to open the door. Don't forget to open the door. Don't open the door. Open it. So, how do you see yourself in respect to this card? Am I happy? If yes, what exactly? If no, what exactly is making me unhappy? What does happiness mean for me? How can I take concrete steps to achieve this? Oh, and last but not least, what can I personally do to take responsibility for my own happiness? Those are some really good questions right there. I mean, those are really, really deep questions. Actually, those are some questions that I was asked in therapy. I wonder. Quote on the card. If the clover's in the sun, happiness is sure to come. Yeah, this morning walked right out, clovers all over in the sun. Alright, so that's cool. If clouds are hovering in the rain, your clover may be a sign of pain. And that can, be attributed to if you have arthritis or fibromyalgia, any kind of musculoskeletal disease. You can feel when it's going to rain. So, I definitely can feel when it's going to rain. I feel it right now. My shoulder should not be doing that. I don't know what's wrong with them, so tip. Try finding some of your own personal happiness by celebrating the things that you have achieved. So if it's not enough, then it's time to strive for more. Alright, happiness can only be achieved through hard work. Sometimes you have to fight for happiness. Why not start today? If anything, today just might be your lucky day. Now, in the context of love. Love is a tender plant that needs a lot of care, especially when things are not going well in a relationship. Work at it and try to be patient with your mutual expectations for one another or opposing points of view. Now, this card is no easy task. This is no easy task, but it is one that is truly worthwhile. Happiness. So, have you ever found your own 4-leaf clover? No? Then it's time to look for one. Recognizing what happiness really is often takes a long time. It takes patience, experience, and above all, the willingness to search for it. These really make you think. Just these 2 cards right here have totally made me it has opened like a door or a light switch is just going off just by reading these. So, now, success. Sometimes it can seem like, or even your boss can be asking you to do everything at once. That's me, I'm my own boss, and yes, I always put that much pressure on myself. I have to get everything done right now, or I'm going to end up dead, or, hit by a bus. If everything's going too good, I'm not going to cross the street. What's somebody not telling me? Why is everything this good? Confront the present difficult task with determination and mindfulness, and this will bring you closer to finding a solution. I love these. These are just amazing. Alright, so tomorrow we will go on with the rest. We will go on to the ship. Literally these cards are just, so we've done 2 cards, and I'm already having just all this stuff running through my mind. Alright, so yes, tomorrow we will definitely, and they are so neat because they can fit in just little tiny pouches. It's good to keep a quartz crystal with them, as my Virgo Queen has told me. Thank you for these. I love them. You know that. So yeah, what do you guys think? What kind of cards do you guys use? Obviously, I have become very addicted to the tarot. Another addiction. Coffee, cigarettes, tarot, Ouija. Fountain of Youth. So that's that. But, alright guys, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, if you guys want me to do readings for you with the Lenormand cards, I surely will. So, there won't be much, because I'm just really kind of starting out. So, I mean, I can practice on you guys if you want. Maybe. So, but yes, I will see you all tomorrow. So, happy Witchy Wednesday. I hope you enjoy the recipe for the little spiritual cleanser, the Mr. Spiritual Spritzer. Spritz. Don't know where that came from, but I like it, so. But, alright guys, I love you all very much, and thank you guys for watching. All my love. Jen and Sylvia, thank you. Jamie, thank you. Everybody that has been on my public page, commenting, thank you. Thank you. It's, yeah, you guys all know what it's about, so I love it. So, alright guys, all my love, all the way from Venus, all the way back down. And I love you all, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So, everybody have a good day.